their team captain, Jon Locke. And facing them tonight, making a splash, it's Adlington. He's a stand-up guy. It's Romesh Ranganathan. And their team captain, Jon Richardson. Now, welcome your host, Jimmy
Welcome to 8 out of 10 Cats, a show about opinion polls, surveys and statistics. Did you know, for example, 10% of homeowners have a hot tub? I'm sorry to disappoint anyone watching in Middlesbrough, but an abandoned chest freezer in the front garden full of rainwater does not count. According to a survey, over their lifetime, women spend £28,000 at the hairdressers. I don't know all the details, those are just the highlights. And 75% of women would rather date a man with love handles than a six-pack. Well, I've got love handles. Well, one love handle. It's about yay long and it sticks out the front. Right, let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. It's our palace job to guess the British public's top 3 most popular talking points. Sean's team, what do you think the nation have been talking about?
Baking cake. Yes. Cake. We had the National Cake Championships recently, where the whole nation gathered round an oven and waited with bated breath to see who made the best cake.
Well, especially it wasn't even cake. In the end, there was a windmill and a letterbox.
Made of cake.
Ish. Like when I see some cake, I say, oh, I left some cake. But with that one, you wouldn't even have known where to start slicing. So and they put all the hours in and lovely and what have you, but was not for consumption.
Don't take this the wrong way, but are you a bit of a cake fascist?
Well, I like my cake edible and manageable, yes.
That is not a cake! No, I don't watch it because nothing happens. That's the whole point. That's why people like it, because nothing happens. Someone bakes a cake. If I had a choice between watching Bake Off and watching the last hour of a light bulb, I'd choose the light bulb. But, you know, when you're just watching a light bulb just flickering before it just goes... Or if I want to entertain myself, I just rub my eyes like that. And then go into a dark room and see all the stars. And oh, this is great. I see stars and everything. So I don't have a problem with it, but I'm not a baker. I did an old lady one.
Bake Off is just about an excuse to eat cake. What is not to get?
Yeah, but
Why
that's
wouldn't
the
you
thing.
watch it?
It's only on telly. You can't eat it.
Yeah, because then you make it. You go out, you then make yourself
yeah, but you're
a
not.
cake.
Have you been watching telly?
I go out, I make the cake. Well, not that cake. I don't make the windmill and whatever.
So, which cakes have you made this year? What did you go with?
This week, for the final, me and my husband made a chocolate banana loaf.
A chocolate banana loaf?
Yeah. It makes you feel better because it's got fruit in, so you think you're being healthy, but really it's just chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake with a banana next to it, is it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Do you drink?
No.
No. That's it. You can only really get excited about cake, I think, if you don't drink.
Maybe they should do drink off. Maybe they should just have people making drinks, that's a lovely gin and tonic. Yeah, lovely. Because you could really play along at home with that.
Yeah. You'd have to keep Mary Berry on. Just shit-faced by the end of it.
She was loving the Baileys.
She likes a drink, I've heard.
And it would also make sense why it always... Mary would like you to, as if she couldn't speak herself. She has got her mother to speak for her, doesn't she? And Mary would like... And she stands right there, so... And she must have told them in the first place what she would like. I mean, that bit of the show makes absolutely no sense.
What bit?
Well,
I don't watch it, so...
Well, essentially what it is essentially reenactment of Victorian London, where there is the paupers in the cellar and the high and mighty, they're being served cake in that instance.
Did you watch Downton Abbey by mistake?
Well, it is not too dissimilar, is it? It's just people that are entitled for whatever reason, and then they have the paupers baking them cake. And then they can be snootish about it. Oh, that raspberry made the base all moist. Well, it's still a nice piece of cake, I guess. what's fussy about it? Bake it yourself.
Henry, do you have any equivalent of this in America?
There are a lot of shows, of bake-off shows and chef shows. I did one. It was called The Iron Chef.
The Iron Chef.
What they didn't tell me was, don't eat every plate, all of it, at one. There were 4 chefs, and they made 4 complete dinners. And I ate 4 complete dinners. And I licked the plate.
You don't want to be impolite, so you finish your plate. Yeah. Also, we all know if you don't finish the plate, tomorrow will be rain. Oh, that's probably more German thing.
Is that what they say to kids?
Yeah, you say to the kids, you have to eat, you have to finish the plate, otherwise tomorrow will be bad weather.
But kids, the kid wakes up the next morning and it's raining and he thinks, oh my, it's my fault.
Exactly, exactly. And if he is finished, or she has finished the plate, then, oh, it must have been the neighbour's kid that hasn't finished.
John, have you been watching Bake Off?
I just don't get it. I just take it too seriously.
What do you mean take it too seriously? You take cooking very seriously.
I take life seriously. Cake is just cake, though, isn't it? Paul Hollywood
It's not just
talks
cake,
about it
though.
like, oh, that could have done with just 17.4 seconds longer in the oven now. You're talking out your arse, man.
Romesh, do you watch Bake Off?
I love Bake Off. I think it's the best thing on TV. I absolutely love it. I went on Extra Slice, like the offshoot show. I was a guest on there talking about Bake Off. I made vegan brownies because I am one. And,
Let's have a look and see if Bake Off's up there. Of course. Yes, the Bake Off final, watched by 12 million people. Winner Nancy is set to take Hollywood by storm. That's if she gets pissed enough at the after-party. OK, John Steen, what else has the nation been talking about?
I imagine people are talking about Strictly Come Dancing. They usually do, don't they? There was a headline in the paper this week that was Tess Daly's shoe came off on her way down the stairs. That was on the news. It was a great moment for Bruce Forsyth, who I imagine was just sat at home going, it's all falling apart now, you see, I've done it 10 years with both my shoes on.
Rebecca, are you missing Brucey?
I love Bruce. Bring Bruce back.
Do you miss him on the show? I think Claudia's just kind of added a new... I mean, she's just so kind of full of... I don't know, I really like it now.
I do like the girls, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, it just doesn't seem like Strictly Come Dancing anymore without Bruce.
Of course, Henry, you've got Dancing with the Stars in America.
In America, yes.
Would you ever consider going on?
I enjoy watching it. I will not. I can't do it.
That's a shame. I think because you used to have incredible dance moves back in the day.
I did, and I want to keep them a great memory.
You would never be allowed on the British version because if anyone's ever been out dancing before, they say, oh no, that's unfair, they know what they're doing. So that seems to be the main criticism of most candidates.
There has been a huge controversy this year because there's a lady on the show called Pixie Lott, who's very good, but she's done 8 years dance training at an elite academy, so she was always going to be quite good. She's favourite at the moment. She's 3-1 to win, as is Frankie Bridge, off of the Saturdays.
You know the Saturdays?
I actually met one of the Saturday.
Really?
Which one did you meet?
Beautiful one.
Oh. Well, I know which one it wasn't,
That's,
but...
Can I ask you a question? Because I'm a massive Happy Days fan. But you actually jumped the shark, didn't you?
No, I did all of the water skiing. My parents were very, very short Germans. And my father said, you know, because I was a counselor in camp, and I would teach water skiing. And he said, tell the producers that... I'm so sorry. He said, tell the producers you're a water skier. So I did, and all of a sudden there I was water skiing. That was a real shark and
it
a
was
real...
alive?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real thing that happened. It's a documentary. Henning, do you watch the show?
Not regularly, but I wonder, a lot of them professional dancers, not the ones on the program, but there's loads of them that have gone to the dancing schools or whatever they might be called, and
Dancing school, yeah.
yeah, dancing school, and they've put themselves through everything because of the dancing, and then they see all of a sudden any old Herbert having a go on Strictly Come Dancing. They must be feeling like most stand-ups feel when they turn the telly on and there is Paddy McGuinness.
Rebecca, when are you doing Strictly? Have you done Strictly or are you doing it?
No, never done it. I'll do it if you'll do it.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to wait till after the career-defining event. I might have to go in the jungle first to win back public support.
Jimmy, you'd be lucky to get on the coach trip.
Should we have a look and see if Strictly's up there? Yeah, well, of course. Yes, it's Strictly. Scott Mills has been criticised by Strictly judges, but to be fair, it is nice to see an ageing Radio 1 DJ in front of a judge, and they've done nothing worse than a shit tango. Jake Wood from EastEnders is currently the bookie's favourite, and he'll be back for the Strictly Christmas special, where he'll be run over after finding out his dad is actually his mum. We're still trying to guess the most talked about things over the last week. Sean's team. What else have the nation been talking about?
Well, obviously, the nation's been gripped by the Lib Dem conference. I like the Lib Dems because they're like sort of the political equivalent of bisexual swingers. They just do it with anyone. We'll do a coalition with you if you want. Or we'll do a coalition with you. We just love coalitioning. The name doesn't seem an unelectable name, Nick Clegg. He should change it to something a bit more catchy. I'd vote for him if he was called Tommy Bubbles. Vote for Bubbles, Tommy Bubbles. It's Tommy Bubbles!
Clegg was asked at the conference about a choice of going to bed with Ed Miliband or David Cameron in a new coalition deal, and he joked he would choose his wife.
Well, we would all choose his wife.
Yeah. No, you say he jokes. I think he just takes questions a bit too literally, and he doesn't understand metaphor. So they said, would you go to bed with Cameron or Miliband? He went, no, my wife. Be good if he said that and not, well, actually, I quite fancy Ed. He looks really supple. He looks a bit dirty, Ed. And then we go, oh, no, what have you said, Nick? I'd really give Ed one.
Can you imagine a Labour Liberal Democrat coalition with the current generation of politicians we have? Would just be the wettest. They'd just be crying in Parliament. Just Ed Miliband just going, it's really hard, actually. I don't think anyone gives me any bloody credit.
I feel sorry for him because he's got these ideas and stuff, Ed Miliband. He's very keen, but he's just got an unelectable face. He looks like a waxwork that's been kept at slightly above room temperature for too long.
Should we take a look at someone with undoubtedly a lot of personality in politics? This is Boris Johnson discussing the Clacton by-election on radio.
What's the name of your candidate out there at Clacton?
We've got a fantastic guy called... Oh, he's a superb man. Sterling, Girling, something like that. What's he called? You tell me. Giles. Come on, what is it again?
Giles, the bread actor. Do you remember Star from Bread?
No.
No. Right, take another call then, don't worry. See if you can get it. No,
tell me the name. Come on.
Get it. No, see if it's
Stop sitting there like a great big fat Buddha and tell me the name of this guy.
Henning, would you consider running for office?
I would, actually, if someone asked, but I don't think I'm allowed to play because I haven't got a British passport. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to work on British television without a British passport.
Rebecca, have you met Nick Clegg?
I have, but I didn't know it was Nick Clegg.
How did this happen?
It was after the Olympics, and you go to meet the Queen, you do the parade around London, and we're at an event, and I was just kind of stood there with my friend, and this guy came over and said, oh, congratulations. I was like, OK, thanks, see you later, have a good night. Just kind of polite and just kind of walked off, and then she was like, what are you doing? That was Nick Clegg. I was like, who's Nick Clegg? I had no idea.
I wouldn't feel bad. He experiences that on an hourly basis.
Well, I can tell you the Lib Dem conference is not one of the most talked about things over the last week, but when it comes to the next election, Nick Clegg faces a difficult decision. Just how far can he fuck off? John's team.
I say what I have been talking about this week. Roy Keane has a second book out. Nelson Mandela, just the one book. Roy Keane felt he needed 2. So really...
Nelson Mandela struggled to do another one now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, it was only 3 years since his last autobiography, so surely all that much can't have happened in the meantime. So, I mean, I would struggle filling one autobiography. I would have to write down every single thought I ever had, and on top of that, I would need to invent stuff.
So you're saying it would be difficult for you to write an autobiography? We'll just call it My Struggle, then.
Yeah, very good. Or I was thinking probably Henning. Everything has gone according to plan.
Let's have a look at a picture of Roy Keane as he is now. Look at that. Imagine if Santa Claus was evil.
Yeah. He tried to sell me a carpet in Kazakhstan.
How do you get a black island hat? Like, everything's green. He's obviously going, don't wear green. Make it black.
What you've got to remember when you look at that picture is that at home, he's the tooth fairy. He's creeping up the stairs in the town. And then the next minute, he's chilling people to their very marrow.
I don't really read autobiographies, if I'm honest. But there's a chapter in his where he talks about the fact that Gary Neville's got a small dick.
A chapter?
Yeah.
Well, a chapter in which I don't think it's a whole chapter. He says he's talking about the banter in the shower room, which obviously we have our 8 out of 10 cat showers after the show.
I insist on it.
What happens in the shower stays in the shower. But he says, we all do jokes. And he said Nicky Butt's got a really big penis and he does the helicopter. And he said Gary Neville always showers with his back to everyone. And he said one day I went round and I grabbed him and I spun it round. And he's just got. And it's a horrible thing to write anyway. I'm just warning you two now. If you ever tell people about my massive penis, I'll be very upset. But he says he's got a penis like a little button mushroom. And now I really like Gary Neville, and now I can't...
You go off people?
No, you can't fantasise about them. What do you... Finish that sentence.
I can't enjoy Gary Neville's punditry, and I can't enjoy button mushrooms, and those are 2 things I, in the past, have held dear.
Someone's just said... John, someone's just said that whole thing about Roy Keane saying that Gary Neville had a button mushroom for a penis, that's from a spoof, apparently. That isn't true.
Well, I've been duped. Sadly, as well, when he said that, my first thought was, I'm glad Gary Neville's got a big dick. Isn't that weird? I don't want him to have a small penis because I admire his punditry.
It's a bit of good news for Gary Neville if he sat at home with a missus going, that's normal. I'm telling you, love, that's normal. OK, Henry, you've written books.
I have not.
But you haven't done an autobiography?
No, I've written one adult book about fly fishing for trout. Everything that I've learned.
That sounds weird, because we would call pornography an adult book.
No, I understand.
Because I know you've written a lot of children's books.
I've written a lot of children's books, and I've written one for adults about my passion, which is of fly fishing for trout.
So fly fishing's your thing, isn't it?
I love to fly fish.
What's your favourite type of fly?
I prefer zipper over button.
Everyone, it's the bloody prawns.
You mean when I'm fishing?
You know what I meant, Henry, you cheeky son.
Yes, I did.
You were
Yes,
messing with
I
me,
did.
Henry. I've just been messed about by the Fonz. This is incredible.
Well, I can tell you Roy Keane's autobiography isn't up there, but Roy Keane's book hit the shelves this week, mainly because he's been throwing it at shop assistants. Rebecca, now you've won 2 golds at the Beijing Olympics. Have you written an autobiography?
No.
How come you haven't done one?
It'd be the most boring book ever. Eat, sleep, swim. I could mention some guys' bits in there, though. We're pretty naked.
Don't point at me when you say that.
You all prepared together to get in your bathing suits together?
Yeah.
Idea for adult novel number 2.
I'm taking up swimming. So if you're going to win an Olympic medal, how much do you swim in a week?
About 22 hours.
Back and forth, back and forth?
We can't just keep going.
When you finish, do you know what place you come in? Or are you, because you've got no idea what's happening in the other lanes?
Yeah, like, if you know you're far ahead, Like, because I do front crawl, so I breathe both sides, I can see. But if it's a really, really close race, then you have no idea.
When you said I breathe both sides, then I thought like front and back.
When you do the backstroke, how do you know when to turn? Because
The flags?
the flags.
Have you ever been to a pool?
I have. I smashed my head quite badly.
But it's like
Looking at the
flags, like
flags.
bunting
Very nice.
at 5 metres.
Oh,
So you know
is
that's
that what
when
it
to
is?
turn
I
it,
thought it was
yeah.
just like party or something every time. I didn't realise it was a warning. You don't have bunting as a warning. Have like a red flashing light or something.
Well, what if you're blind? You can't see the flashing light.
But you can see the flags if you're blind.
Oh, no, someone taps you on the head.
A wall.
Yeah, a wall.
No, like so a person stands at the end and taps you on the head.
I want that job.
Yeah, no,
At the end of a pool all day. Here he comes. See you in 5 minutes. I love this.
You see the flag. What do you have, like, I have 2 more strokes and then turn?
Yeah,
How many strokes?
pretty much 2. You got it right.
Nailed it. Nailed it. Come on. OK, fingers on buzzers. You've got one more thing to get. Go on, what do you think?
Top Gear?
Top Gear, yes.
Do you watch the show?
Yeah, I love Top Gear.
So, well, tell us what happened. So,
They went out to Argentina, and the number plate was obviously offensive to the Falklands War, and then protesters started, and they were going to be killed, apparently.
it's not that offensive as well, was it? It was H982FKL. I think a reference to 1982 Falklands War. I should say that Clarkson has tweeted this week the number plate was a coincidence. When it was pointed out to us, we changed it.
I mean, he's poor Jeremy Clarkson's had a bloody week of it, to be honest, because he got to the airport and he was on flight 8008, and that spelt boob, and he was very embarrassed about that. And he was in seat number 69, he was like, oh, bloody hell, he didn't actually. And he got to his hotel room, and he was in room number I hate Argies, and he didn't know anything about that either. He's just so unlucky, that man.
Then the car was obviously left in Argentina, and they found another licence plate in the boot of the car, which was this. One local official in Argentina said, we know bell end doesn't mean the end of a bell. It is a word used instead to describe the head of a penis, which is often employed as an insult in England. Yeah, they've got our number.
It's a funny business with those number plates, isn't it? And H982FKL means something, and then it was love. I mean, I can say if you've got personalised number plate that says Big Boss, say, OK, that is meant to mean Big Boss. But with a lot of the stuff, when they say, oh, that means that and that means the others, it's a bit like spotting Jesus on a slice of toast, isn't it? Why is DXY3474, that means diamond geezer? Why?
I reckon what happened is that they were driving down the street, a load of Argentinians were chasing them with rocks and stuff, trying to kill them or whatever, and then a BBC producer came out and said, look, we're sorry, we didn't realise the number plates were that offensive, and they just went, what number plates? We're just trying to kill the prick. No, I just think it's the BBC's attempt to get him slaughtered. I reckon next they'll send him to Syria with a number plate that says 1S are gay laws.
When you Google Jeremy Clarkson, it genuinely says, people also searched for Jeremy Kyle and Piers Morgan. I think that says everything you need to know about him.
No, but I think the thing about him is you have to say, you have to admire how good he is at his job. Because he can say virtually anything and they can't sack him. That's how good he is.
Well, can I ask a question? How are the ratings?
Amazing.
Really?
I think it's the #1 show in the world.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So
Basically,
he's going to say whatever he wants.
He could have a shit on Mary Berry's cake tin. And they go, oh, sorry, I didn't realise. I thought it was I didn't realise, sorry. Oh, God, what am I like? You'd think, though, one thing I think about Clarkson, he's got 2 big loves in his life, and petrol. If only we could find a way. Combining them.
OK, let's have a look and see if Top Gear is up there. Yes, the Top Gear team nearly caused a riot in Argentina. They were burning cars, smashing windows and yelling obscenities. And then they stopped making the Top Gear Christmas DVD and went to Argentina. So those were the most talked about things over the last week. But in other news, the UK is sending 750 troops to Sierra Leone to fight Ebola, because that's how you combat a virus. You shoot it. At the end of that round, Sean, Henning and Henry have 1 point. Jon, Rebecca and Romesh have 2 points. Our next round is Pick of the Polls. Sean, Henning, Henry, pick a question. What are you going to go for?
Well, we've got to go for the picture of Henry, I think.
OK, you've chosen Henry the Fonz Winkler, king of cool. So here's your question. Most people think they're cool, true or false?
I'd say most people think, yeah, I'm cool.
Well, how would you define cool? I mean, you are the Fonz, so...
I have defined cool as being authentic. If you are yourself, you are magnetic, you are cool.
I can show you what cool is. Sure, I'll show you. Still, this tells you what... That's cool. I mean, that's inarguably cool.
Seen that? It's not looking so great on loads of people in barbershop windows, don't they?
Do you think you're cool, Sean?
No, no, no. I think I'm terrific.
Yes, you are.
I think I'm terrific.
Yes, you are.
I don't think I'm cool, no.
Sean, what do you think makes someone cool?
I don't know. I've got a stainless steel birdseed feeder.
You decide.
Sitting the wrong way on a chair's cool, isn't it?
In the 90s, not now.
Go on, so hang on. If you were going to sit on that chair in a cool fashion, show us how that would work. I think the arms are going to get...
Oh, yeah.
It feels like that was the wrong way to do that.
I'd agree with you.
You look like you're waiting for something else to happen.
I do feel happier, though. It's a lot better. Carry on, Daddy-o. On with the quiz, JC.
OK. OK, so let's get some answers on this. So most people think they're cool, true or false? What are you going for, Sean?
In the UK, I don't think they think that, no.
No, I think they're false.
Wait, can we just, before we go false, I just want to say, in their home, when they're looking at a mirror, when they're going to go out, they're dressing up. Look at this audience. They prepared to come to this show. Well, you didn't.
What?
And I think before they left the house, they thought, wow, I look good. Look at that jacket. Come on, stand up, show that jacket.
I think that's a hoodie.
Look at that. Yeah, but you got nice white things coming down. You got a red tie going on.
Well, let's go.
You look good. What's your name? Glenn, you're too cool for school.
Glenn, it's
OK.
It's funny you should say that, actually, because Glenn has been excluded. Glenn, do you think... Are you cool, Glenn?
My head teacher watching this.
If your head teacher was watching this...
You know, forget that your head teacher's watching. We got you covered, Len.
It's Glenn. It's Glenn.
Glenn. Glenn, you're covered too. Let me just say, if you have a problem, you have her talk to me. I will set that woman straight.
Don't, he'll get her pregnant. OK, so you're saying yes, Sean?
Yes, we're going with the Fonz.
Yes,
we're going to go
OK.
yes.
Jon, what do you think?
I think you're never too cool for school, and the cool thing to do is to have options. I think it's probably false.
I think false, yeah, definitely false.
False.
OK, you're going false. I can tell you the answer is false. Only 47% of people think they're cool. If you want to know what kind of a kid I was at school, you know the geeky kid who can't get a girlfriend, who all the other kids pick on and victimise? Well, I was bullied by that kid. Here's your question. Best thing about being a kid?
That's easy.
Go on.
You can shit yourself in public and no one bats an eyelid.
Strange groundswell of support for that, as if... Yeah, that's the thing we're missing out on.
Henning's talking about shitting yourself in public, but I do think, like, as a kid, having a face-to-face chat while you have a shit is something that you did as a kid that you don't get now. Like, you have to look, you have to look at your phone, whereas when you're a little kid, somebody has to go with you. You can just have a little chin wag. Do you know what I mean? Like, my 5-year-old, if we're at a restaurant or something, he'll go, Daddy, I need to go. And so we go, all right, we'll go off. And he'll just tell me about his day while he's curling one out. And then what he'll do, which is so... They've just got such plausible deniabilities, he'll go, oh, there's a funny smell in here, isn't there, Daddy? Well, I'm watching you take a shit. Who are you going to try and pin this on, mate?
Stickers, I think. Stickers.
Stickers?
Stickers seem to have some kind of, like, magical property. And then around about, well, for me, around about sort of 12 or 13, they sort of lose their appeal. It must be something to do with the surge in hormones, cancelling out the enjoyment of stickers.
As a veteran of 2 recent sticker campaigns, let me tell you the joy is not undiminished.
Or maybe hormonally you're not fully charged yet. Well, maybe you're not actually properly an adult yet. No.
Are you collecting stickers still?
Not still. The tournament's ended, Jimmy. I'm not a loser.
But you enjoy the process?
I enjoy buying stickers and finding out if I've got any needs in my pocket. I mean, I've got needs, don't get me wrong.
Rebecca, what do you think the best thing about being a kid was?
I used to get away with murder when I was little.
Did you murder someone?
No.
What did you used to get away with?
So I just used to try and get my sister into trouble. I used to, like, just go into my room, like, slap my arm really, really hard and then go, Mum, Laura's hit me, so she would get told off.
And you haven't seen Laura since you went into care, have you? Henning, what were you like as a child?
No, what was I like? Well, I was a lot smaller than I'm now. And then I grew into my current dimensions. And that was mainly all I did when I was little.
Well, that's the first chapter of the book finished. Henry, what do you think the best thing is about being a kid?
Being worry-free. That you have, you're not sure yet about all of the things that we worry about as adults. Gaza and ISIS and Ebola and...
Henning.
Yeah, they're the 4 big ones. They're the 4 things I worry about. John, best thing about being a kid?
Not getting stiff. That was the best thing about being a kid.
I mean, it's to my credit I didn't say anything there. Tell us more about not getting stiff as a child, John. Sometimes that can happen to grown-ups as well. It's perfectly normal.
If I have a day now where I've gone upstairs a lot in a day, the next day my legs hurt. I used to play football for like 12 hours straight through, breaking only for meals. And I was fine the next day.
Are you looking at Rebecca when you're telling her about your workouts as a kid?
I'm just looking at everyone. I'm looking at anyone who'll look back and hold my gaze. Would you like to do a joke about holding my gaze? I shouldn't have brought them with me.
You never go hungry when you're a kid, do you? Because you can always dine from the head buffet.
I'll give you a clue. It might involve cake.
Eating cake.
Going out to candles on the birthday cake.
Birthday parties.
It's the right answer. Well, that sound tells me it's the end of the round and the end of the show, which means the final scores are Sean, Henning and Henry have 2 points. John, Rebecca and Romesh have 3 points. They're the winners. Thanks to all our panellists, our wonderful studio audience, and to all of you for watching at home. That's it from us. Good night.